Coming up later. But first, the big story we are following at this hour is the countdown to the sequester. Because in 2 short days, at the stroke of midnight, March the 1st, $85 billion in automatic spending cuts will be triggered. But even with the clock ticking closer and closer to that deadline, our alarmist-in-chief, President Panic himself, he did not feel the need to be at the White House today, nor did he think it was important enough to visit Capitol Hill and try and hammer out a bipartisan solution to the mess that he himself has put the country in. Now, instead of focusing on fixing the problem, he decided to take his sequestration scare tactics on the road today with a visit to the Commonwealth of Virginia. And as usual, his teleprompter was loaded to the brim with more of the same irresponsible, end-of-the-world rhetoric that we've all grown accustomed to. In fact, his choice of words was so ridiculously similar to what we've heard from him exactly a week ago, we could not resist on this program, but put together a Hannity highlight reel of President Panic in action. Do not adjust your screen. This is not deja vu that you're seeing. You're not seeing double. Sadly, this is the, quote, leadership in the age of Obama.
In a few days, Congress might allow a series of immediate, painful, arbitrary budget cuts to take place, known in Washington as the sequester.
Now, if Congress allows this meat cleaver approach to take place, it will jeopardize our military readiness. It will eviscerate job-creating investments in education and energy and medical research.
Early education, like Head Start and Early Start, would be eliminated for nearly 1,000 children.
Border Patrol agents will see their hours reduced. FBI agents will be furloughed. Federal prosecutors will have to close cases and let criminals go. Air traffic controllers and airport security will see cutbacks,
and that
which means more delays at airports across the country.
Tens of thousands of parents will have to scramble to find child care
for their kids.
Hundreds of thousands of Americans will lose access to primary care and preventive care, like flu vaccinations and cancer screening. So these cuts are wrong. They're not smart.
They are not fair. They will hurt our economy.
They're a self-inflicted wound that doesn't have to happen.
They don't have to happen.
Now, I've laid out a plan that details how we can pay down our deficit in a way that's balanced and responsible.
A balanced plan. One that pairs more spending cuts with tax reform, that closes special interest loopholes.
And the second I get that bill on my desk, I will sign it into law. But I've got to get Congress to pass it. None of us will get 100% of what we want.
But nobody should want these cuts to go through.
All right, a classic. If and when the Obama sequester takes effect on Friday, it's because the president was more concerned with fear-mongering than finding a solution to the problem that he himself created. Joining me now with some insight, Democratic Congressman Keith Ellison of Minnesota. Congressman, welcome back, sir.
You bet.
I guess that's what we can describe as staying on message, something the Democratic Party, I would argue, is very good at. Let me ask you.
You're pretty good at it, too.
Thank you.
Quite frankly, you are the worst excuse for a journalist I've ever seen.
I am the what? I can't hear you.
You heard me.
I didn't know. Say it again. I didn't hear you.
I heard you. What you just displayed was not journalism. It was yellow journalism. It wasn't anything close to trying to tell the American people what's really going on. And, it's just shocking.
Yellow journalism? To play Obama in his own words is yellow journalism?
Well, with the background music and with your lead up before you let the president talk, let me tell you, I was here. Everything the president said is absolutely true. Yeah. And for you to try to make the American people think that it isn't is deceptive on your part. And it's a breach of everything. Every journalistic ethic I have ever heard of was just violated by you. And the president was truthful. The president was honest. What the president said was dead on accurate. And for you to say the president is to blame here is ridiculous. I was there August 2011 when the Republicans, your party, which you shamelessly
I'm not a Republican.
represent.
Let me correct the record.
You are nothing but a Republican. Yes,
sir,
you are.
Sir,
yes, you are.
Sir, I'm a registered.
Sir. Well, let me just say,
I am not a registered Republican. I'm a registered conservative.
You are a shill for the Republican Party.
I am a registered conservative,
sir. You alibi them constantly. You alibi them 100% of the time.
Keep going.
You don't do anything else. Okay, well, good. Let me just say this. What the president said is absolutely true. the president, the people watching your show should ignore all of the commentary that you put in and all of the hype music that you put on, and should pay attention to what the president actually said, because what the president said was true. You, by the way, are inaccurate when you say that the president is to blame here. He's not. It was the Republicans in August 2011 said that they were going to cause the American economy to default on debts we already acquired unless they got deep and substantial cuts. And we ended up with a downgrade because of what the Republicans did. And after that, we set up this thing called the super committee. When all the Republican members on that super committee had already pledged to Grover Norquist they would not raise revenue, only do cuts. And then after it failed, as it always was going to, we ended up with sequester.
Let me ask you a question. I've given you plenty.
You said I could rant, and I am.
I've given you plenty of time to rant, Congressman. Now
we'll let you get a word in. Go ahead.
Oh, you're so nice to give me a word on my own program.
Okay,
let me ask you a question.
As a matter of fact,
let me ask you. You said the president was true. Congressman, calm. I will give you your chance. I gave you 3 minutes to rant. Calm down. I gave you 3 minutes. Relax. I've got a question for you. You were invited on the program to answer a question. I want to give you a couple questions. You said, Congressman, let me ask you a question. Why are you so angry? You're so angry. Let me ask you a question. I'm not angry. I'm laughing at you because I think this is actually comical.
I'm laughing at you.
All right. Here's my question. Here's my question for you.
It's not the first time.
Listen, I invited you on. I gave you 3 minutes to rant. Now let me ask you a question. We'll have a discussion. We'll have a dialogue. In the spirit of bipartisanship, let's find a dialogue. I want to ask you this.
I thought you weren't a Republican.
Max, I'm a registered conservative. I am, sir. You want to make a $1,000 bet that I'm a registered conservative? You want to make a $10,000 bet?
I don't bet. I don't bet.
I'm just telling you, I'm a registered conservative. I wrote a book called Conservative Victory. I didn't write Republican Victory.
Do you have a question for me, sir?
Yes, I do. All right. Now, first of all, it was Max Baucus and it was Bob Woodward that said that the president requested the sequester, point one. Point number two, my question to you is very simple. Barack Obama, because you said that what he said is true.
The Budget Control Act was forced down the American public by the Republican Party. Sequester is a provision of the Budget Control Act.
Relax.
The Republicans are responsible for the Budget Control Act.
I got it. I know you're a broken record. Now let me get you my question.
You're a broken record.
Okay, thank you. Here's my question. So Barack Obama said in 2008 when he was running for office that George Bush was irresponsible and unpatriotic for when he became president, we had $10 trillion in debt. We now have $16 trillion. We now have $16 trillion in debt, Congressman.
I'm here to speak for myself.
$16 trillion in debt. I want to ask you, is it? Here's my question.
I got an answer for you. You want to do something about the $16 trillion? Let's do something. Let's close on large corporations. Let's say that yachts and jets should not be something you can write off. Let's say that ExxonMobil and Chevron should not get a tax rebate and a subsidy. Let's start there. Let's say that people who get to pay less on
Congressman, you're ranting really well.
Well,
can I ask you a question? Here's a simple question. Is it immoral? Is it immoral to put 16 and a half? I'm immoral? What did I do that's immoral? I didn't do anything that's immoral.
You say things that aren't true.
Give me one example, sir.
Well, to try to say that it is the president's fault and he is to blame is wrong, and it's a lie.
It's not his fault that we have $16 trillion in debt. He didn't add $6 trillion. We didn't add $6 trillion to the debt since he's been president.
No.
We did add $6 trillion to debt since he's been president.
What about the other 10? Right. Let's talk about the
Congressman,
other 10.
you are a total waste of time. I'm moving on because our audience deserves better. Thank you for being with us. I tried to give you a fair shot. And coming up, did ABC News deceptively edit an interview with the